Her name is Alix Earle. In the past 2 weeks, she's gained over 500,000 followers on Instagram, over 1 million or so on TikTok.
Logan said basically, since he has like this belief in God, he should go see a therapist because his belief in God or Jesus isn't helping. Ho, ho, ho. Sorry, I had to start it off, man. It is that week. It's Christmas week, right? Or is this for next week?
No, this is Christmas week. This is,
that's
a couple days from when this drops will be Christmas Eve, Christmas, the holiday season.
Boom.
What a way to start an episode right there.
You know, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, man, I'm all for it. My name's Tommy, and that is Darren, and we're here with another episode of Dreams Life Can Buy. So I'm glad you're tuning in this week amidst all the chaos. Hopefully you're doing some like Amazon shopping and stuff, so it's a little easier. You're not like fighting with people in the parking lots. You ever do that, Darren? Not fight with people, but just like get really annoyed when you have those lanes, you know, in the mall, and cars are just like sitting there in just a moment, like following people to their car and stuff. I mean, it gets vicious out there, even with Amazon.
I'm glad the internet exists now because I never liked going to malls, and I will not go to a mall during this Christmas time. Amazon is your friend. I can order something this morning. It'll come at night. Even now during the holiday season, it'll still come within a day or two, which is crazy. So, you know, we're getting a little too close. I gotta finish up on this holiday shopping here. Been slacking on that.
Dude, you got to get on it. Yeah, I heard a really funny thing my pastor said. He said something like, women, when they go to the mall, there's no game plan. They'll walk in and get lost in there for hours. And he's like, dude, when I walk in the mall, if I'm out of there under 30 minutes, I know I did a good job. And he's like, I know what I'm buying. I know what price it is. I know what store it is. I know the quickest entrance and exit. I'm like, yeah, dude, it's true. Because it's like, it's like too many people. It's like,
yeah. No, I saw this post on Twitter the other day. It showed the Westfield Mall in San Francisco, and it showed it completely empty on Saturday. It said, this is what the Westfield Mall in San Francisco looks like right now. And it was completely empty. And all the comments were like, oh, well, no one's shopping anymore. Is everything online? But it turned out that photo was actually a complete lie, because some comments were saying that, no, I was there and I couldn't even move. It was so packed. So, I mean, people are still going to malls. People are still out there shopping. The parking lots are packed. It's still like what it used to be 10 years ago when Amazon wasn't as huge.
That's so funny. And you know, the algorithm on like TikTok and Instagram Reels and all this is like that post starts going viral. And then like the all of our phones know geographically, like with GPS, where we've been and stuff. So then they start sending those posts of like Westfield Mall to all the people who've been there. And then that post just keeps going.
And then people will see one thing, they'll see one image, and they'll be like, oh, well, I guess nobody shops anymore. And then they'll make that their whole thing. And then they'll just from one image that will change their entire perspective on what shopping during Christmas season is like.
Dude, I love that. It's so sad these days that our education system doesn't teach critical thinking and reasoning and logic skills. That used to be huge, like hundreds of years ago. But nowadays it's like, you know, people just like, we're just so dumbed down by a lot of the social media, even though we're all content creators here, but we're putting out good stuff, right, guys? But people just like, they'll just see one thing. And this isn't, I'm generalizing, and generalizing's bad. So this isn't everybody. But a lot of people, they'll just see one thing and they're like, oh, life is like that. It's like, you know, if there's a rat found in KFC chicken, it's like, oh, that's all KFCs. Can never go to KFC again, right?
Dude, that's so true. And I always think that when people that aren't from LA see one thing about LA, and they'll think that'll be their entire perspective and their entire perception on what LA is like or New York is like. They'll be like, oh, New York is full of homeless people and rats and everything. But then you have to actually visit and go to all these places, spend a week or more in LA doing things and experiencing it for yourself before you can just believe what you see on social media. And that's what everyone does, because, you know, I mean, everything is in our fingertips, in our phones. So you can just scroll, see a 5-second TikTok and be like, oh, it must be terrible out there, no matter where you're at, no matter who you're with. So, I mean, that's just the internet effect of these days, but there's good and bad to it.
Yeah, and that's like everything in life. There is good and bad to everything in life. That's so funny. That struck a nerve with you because I know living in LA and with your YouTube and your TikTok, so many people are like, LA, it's all homeless. There are just so many haters. But being in cities like that, regardless of whatever's going on, even if it was as bad as they say it is, the amount of opportunities, the amount of people for commerce, the amount of just action and things that could take you, like, you get invited to Hollywood premieres, or you have friends who could be assistants to like these famous celebrities and actors, or you could get into a $40 million house and do a video. It's like, every city, no matter where you are, has its good and bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of opportunities out in LA too. And I mean, you can live a completely different life and experience of one. If you're living in Inglewood, you're going to have a completely different perception on LA than if you're living in Venice or if you're living in Beverly Hills. Yeah. So it really just depends. And you can't trust just one simple source, what one person says, what, Grandma Joe says about something going on in the city. And I mean, it was way different than what it was 20 years ago because, now we're not in our own little bubble. We're in the bubble of our phones. So whatever the algorithms want us to think and know what the world is like, I guess that's what our perception would be, which is why we have to expand our mind and learn from a bunch of different sources, which goes for everything media based. You have to just make sure you're open-minded to every little thing out there and also do the experience and research on your own for anything.
1,000%. I agree with all that. That was sound advice for younger people, older people. And we have some good topics today. Yes, we came with some topics, okay? This is a buffet, and we got some good things on the menu today.
Let's go.
So, Darren.
Tommy is hype. It's big Christmas week. Tommy is excited. Getting after it. Big.
Jesus is born. Let's do this.
Oh, exactly. Well,
hit us up with our newest, all content creators listening should be watching. Yeah. I was unaware of this because I'm a boomer. No, I'm really a millennial. But
wow, you were great for a boomer, man.
Thanks,
what's your healthcare routine like?
Adrenochrome.
Stem cells.
No, jokes here. I can have fun, guys. Don't worry. So yeah, content creator on the rise, doing big things. Some things we could learn from.
Dude, this is
Darren.
Pretty crazy, and I don't know an extreme amount about this topic, but there's this girl on social media, on TikTok, on Instagram. Her name is Alix Earle, and basically what's been going on is I think in the past 2 weeks, she's gained over 500,000 followers on Instagram and over 1 million or so on TikTok, which are like, and this is not by posting super flashy, quick-paced videos, viral videos or whatnot.
Yeah.
She's literally only posting things about, it's just her talking to the camera, just being herself. And I think a lot of young girls and I think her fan base just goes from teenage girls to 60-year-old women of what I've heard. I did a little bit of research on this last night. I didn't hear about her until yesterday. And it was very interesting to me, anyone that's gaining a following super quick, I gotta understand what they're doing because it's always good to learn from everyone else on social media. And I guess she is just, posting these get ready with me videos, posting these just random videos talking about herself. People can relate to her because she's really good looking. She's an attractive girl and she is real. And I think these girls can relate to that because they love to see someone that's not trying to be super flashy. They're super authentic. And this is what we talk about on all of these episodes, really. About being authentic is the wave in social media. And the thing that she's doing right now with her personal accounts is just showing who she is, being her, showing that it's okay to mess up, have a quirky personality, be a little weird at times. And yeah, so it's kind of wild. And I actually originally found out about her because she was dating Tyler Wade, who's a baseball player that I follow. I'm big into baseball, big into sports. And she was dating this guy, Tyler Wade, and so she would come up in a couple of his. And I think I follow him, so I saw him post about some things. And then they just broke up, and I guess she's just going even more wild on social media and stuff. But if you look at her views on TikTok, where it's like 3 million is the low right now, I mean, it's going to be really hard to keep up this, but she's like on top of the world. If you read any of the comments on any video with her in it, they are all just like giant fans. Like she's growing a fan base like no other, to where I feel like she could sell anything and make $1 million off it right now because of how dedicated her fans are, because they feel like they're her friends. They feel like they know her, and they're trying to get her on the Call Her Daddy podcast like we were talking about. But it's just wild to see that someone can get this famous. And I mean, the algorithms are just loving her right now, posting her out, getting 10 million views on a video of her just talking about her day, I guess. I don't know. I mean, like I said, all I know is that she's been growing super fast. I just learned about it yesterday. So it's going to be interesting to see what she does and how she leverages this massive following so quick.
Yeah, man. I mean, man, you said a lot of good stuff there. It's really, really interesting. And a lot of people think, and we've all been guilty of this as content creators, that, it's too late to start posting, or TikTok's too saturated, or, YouTube is, too saturated. You can't blow up anymore. But you know what, guys? There's people always, and this is just entrepreneurship, life in general. No matter what the economy is doing, no matter what's going on in society, there's always people who are winning and popping off. So I noticed few things interesting. Her very first post was January 2nd, 2018 on TikTok. Oh, I scrolled down to the bottom. So it goes to show you that since 2020, January 2nd, she's been putting in the work. She's been grinding. So a few quick things. She had a long period where she had a lot of videos get 15,000 views, 20,000 views. And what I noticed, and some of the stuff's a little scandalous, it reminds me a little bit of like a Kim Kardashian. So she uses like her skin a lot, uses what the good Lord gave her to get those views. But I noticed a climb, Darren, and you'll probably see this, a climb in her views and this is something important if you're creating content, you always will get like a new baseline, and you might get 5,000 views, then you get a 30,000 view video, and then you get 20,000. So slowly she's worked her way up from 10, 20,000 views up to now. And it's funny because it says, now I don't know if people went back to this first video, but it shows her very first video, unless she's taken some down. Her very first video got 2 million views. And so the ones all after that just got 20, 30, 10,000 views. So it just goes to show you, she could have been a one-hit wonder if she didn't just keep making content. And now her baseline of views, Darren said, everything's 2-3 million views. And she has that momentum. That's something we've been talking about a lot.
Dude, that is crazy to get 2-3 million views on a video of you just talking about yourself for a minute. Mm-hmm. Like, that's how you know you have such a strong personal brand, personal fan base, which is crazy. But it's also cool to see that she did post a few years back, because every time we see these people blow up, we always, it's tough to look at social media and just think, oh man, everyone's just blowing up so quick. Why can't I blow up so quick instantly? But a lot of these creators, like we talked, like they've been doing it for a while. It just takes a little bit to figure out their niche, your rhythm, get into a strategy, a plan with doing content, and you learn things along the way. And it takes years and years. It's like any business. It'll take a while to get into the groove, into that momentum of building up any business, and especially content creation is a long game.
Totally. Yeah, and you gotta look at it as a long game. Wow, dude, I wonder if my company Wi-Fi has like banned TikTok because it was working and now it's saying access denied to TikTok. No. That is wild.
This is the beginning of the ban.
Dude.
It starts in the companies.
Bro, legit. I know a lot of senators, like it was the House of the Senate. I don't watch politics. I really don't care, guys. But when it comes to content creation, content creator economy, we're in it, guys.
Ooh. Oh, and that's going to be exciting to see too. Yeah.
The House or the Senate unanimously, like both parties, banned it for government devices. And I think that sort of started happening. Yeah. But yeah, I can't access the TikTok website at my work right now.
It's all good. No, but shout out Eric. 11 million subscribers on YouTube, and we're both in his new creator economy course starting January. We'll see how that go. We're just interested to learn from all these different content creators and just see if we can take some little nuggets and then throw them out on this podcast every week for you guys and kind of just spill the beans, drop some good information here. what we learn, and then hopefully send it out to anyone listening to learn as well, because it's always changing. The algorithms are changing so fast every week. It's insane. This is a wild time in social media and content.
Yeah, and that's where we're so excited, because like we'd be doing this without the podcast, but we're like daily, him and I are like buying courses, buying mentorships. I mean, just like we are, like no one's ever made anything. Like you always got to keep learning, progressing. Yeah. Last thing on this Alix Earle thing, because it's fascinating. Oh, yeah. She has a link that goes to like a link tree kind of thing where you can link all your things. She already has her Amazon storefront, boom, already linked, earning commissions on tons of items. And it looks like she has some kind of sponsorship with Revolve, which that's a big thing. A lot of the influencer girls do Revolve
for sure,
for clothing. So pretty insane. And do I see a YouTube channel she has? Did you know that?
I looked it up a little bit last night. I think there's 15,000 followers on there. At least that's what it was last night. But she posted like one video. So I mean, one thing to think about would be, how can she leverage this massive following and extreme growth into monetizing it, monetizing her fans, into making it a business? Like what would be, if you were her right now getting this many views? I'm sure I can't even imagine. It's got to be hundreds of millions of views this month. What should she do to gain some money? You got to make some money too if you're in the space, and with that many eyeballs, you can do pretty much anything, but you got to be strategic about it. Like I don't think she's just dropping an OnlyFans and making millions, even though she could, but she probably wouldn't have the same kind of fan base that she has right now if she did something easy like that.
Yeah, so it looks like, I mean, dude, literally the video she posted a month ago has 116,000 views on YouTube. So
right,
already from YouTube, if she starts taking that seriously and gets someone to really help her with strategy. By the way, Darren and I are open for strategy consultation sessions. We do help creators with that kind of thing. So hit us up in our DMs, and we're happy to do social media strategy for you. But with her, already with the TikTok, not like you don't get paid crazy amounts for monetization, but I think if she really, like with that following, sponsorship, brand deals, that's obviously an easy, just quick money right there. But I knew, my wife told me about an influencer girl similar to her, and her big thing was like eating healthy, and like I think she had like a lot of hair loss kind of stuff. So she tried a lot of like natural products for her hair, right? For hair growth. Dude, she created her own. Eventually, it was like a serum of essential oils, and then now it's a freaking shampoo, conditioner, and she's making millions, bro. But it came organically. I don't know. I'll have to look it up. I'll have to ask Samantha, because I got it now. I got the little oil serum, bro, because I don't want to go bald. Look at this hair. So that's how I know, because my wife had the little serum for like healthy hair growth. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to buy this stuff. But my wife, Samantha, said she's killing it now. But that came naturally as her journey on social media. Her fans knew, then she came out with a product. So I noticed one thing, Alix Earle, she had, dude, and this is where we've been talking a lot about authenticity. She had a post, bro, on TikTok about her Accutane journey with acne. So whatever she's been sharing a lot with her fans, and it's been resonating. Yeah, I think the sky's endless for skincare lines. I mean, just,
oh my gosh.
Someone, you know what I mean?
Clothing lines, skincare lines. I mean, could be any, especially for girls. I mean, they're so influential, the young like, teenage girls, and then any age really. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there and what direction. I mean, just when we started this podcast and we were looking her up, she had 710,000 followers on Instagram, and now she has 713,000, bro. So in the last 18 minutes that we've been running this podcast, she's gained 3,000 followers. Which is insane. Like nobody's growing that fast.
Sounds like my Instagram. I'm just kidding, bro.
Oh no, Tommy, he's getting a big head. Once Tommy has 400,000 followers on Instagram, he's just gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm the man."
Dude, not even. I'm just kidding. My TikTok's tiny, and YouTube. Dang. You're the man. But yeah, that's insane, dude. That is insane.
Yeah, that's
It feels
a lot.
good to, celebrate some wins. Social media could be hard to grow, and it's nice when like stuff finally starts working out. But for one of our I don't know, friends, but someone, near and dear in the content creation. I don't near and dear. Logan Paul, things aren't working out so well right now. What's been going on with him? And this is we're going to talk about him, but this leads to a broader topic of being a content creator and stuff you might deal with and just issues going on. So I think you're going to get a lot out of this.
Yeah, so Logan Paul is not the most liked guy in social media right now. He definitely goes through a lot of ups and downs in the space, from being super well liked. People are like, oh, he's changed. And then the next month, people will be like, all right, he's back to his old arrogant ways, full of himself type social media guy. But he's super famous. He's definitely an A-lister at this point. But he's getting canceled again this past week for their controversial podcast that they had a week or so back, where he was talking about Christianity or talking about religion with one of his co-hosts, George Janko, and the comments did not really like what Logan had to say about it. They actually, Impulsive has stopped comments on their TikTok and their Instagram pages because there was just so much hate going toward Logan right now. So it's definitely got to be a tough time for them to figure out how to, redirect and talk about that in a better light. Because I know, like, Logan, he says that he doesn't care what people think, but then in reality, like, he has to, because he has to sort of bow down to these social platforms, because that's who paid him, and that's who gave him his money in the first place. So I mean, even though this it's not a great take, but it's just very controversial, and I definitely want to hear what you have to think about it, because being super religious and whatnot, you've already made some content surrounding this, so it'll be interesting to hear what you have to say about it. Did you listen to the podcast?
Yeah, so it's not religion. It's not about that. It's about a relationship with Jesus. First of all, but I get he's saying I'm spiritual. He's saying spiritual. He's right. So I listened to the podcast, and a few things. I think one, just in general, like, ideally, you should respect someone else's opinion if it's different than yours. So like, I disagree with him doing that, like, I just don't think it was nice, because basically, like, a few sound bites, like George Janko, one of the guys on the podcast, I said his last name right?
Yeah.
Said, like, Logan said basically, since he has like this belief in God, that, he should go see a therapist because his belief in God or Jesus isn't helping. Like, some like low blows like that. And then just some stuff like, he did like some broad generalizations about Christianity, but really just like, he was going along for like 10 minutes. Like, you're not that emotionally intelligent if you have to believe in a higher power.
That conversation went on for like almost an hour.
It was insane.
It was a lot.
Basically, like, saying you're weak if you have a religion. And I think it's funny because Islam, like, there's over 1 billion people, Christianity over 1 billion, you have Jewish people, you have Buddhism, you have Hinduism. I mean, you have a lot of the world has some kind of faith in some way, shape, or form.
I mean, faith is really all we have at the end of the day, and religion is one of the most, if not the most powerful thing in humanity, because everyone has different beliefs and stuff, and him just kind of trashing on what George is saying and just saying that he's wrong completely is just so immature, honestly. It was tough. It's a very, a little cringy to watch, and I don't know. I wonder how he gets himself out of this one, because he's done it in the past to where, he's said sorry and he backed himself up with being good and switching up his personality, but I don't know. This is going to be a tough one to just apologize for, and everyone getting back on his side.
Yeah, where I have a disagreement with Logan is this. Honestly, I don't care. Like, so I create Christian content, and I've done it for a while, and I leave. If there's comments that say, oh, you believe in like the spaghetti monster, it's like believing in the tooth fairy, or like, oh, you still believe in childish fables and stories, bro. I leave those comments, one, because I like more engagement on my videos, and then people have fights in the comments, and then I get higher watch time on all my videos as they're fighting. So there's algorithm hacks.
Dude, that's the way to get more views and go viral. It's when the comments are just fighting about something, more engagement. Yeah.
But I believe that like people can, like that's why we're in America. People should have, if you have different views than me, that's fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings. If I really believe in this God of this universe and stuff, like I don't have to like defend him. I mean, I could like back things up with what I believe, but it doesn't bother me. Here's what bothers me about this thing with Logan and George. Logan can go and say that the things that Andrew Tate are saying should be silenced, and that there was a clip of him where it looked like he was reading a note card. Who knows? Won't go into conspiracies on that. But before Andrew got wiped by the social media gods across all platforms, like literally canceled to the max, Logan said the things that Andrew Tate are saying about feminism and masculinity, basically it's dangerous. It needs to be taken out.
This was actually after Tate already got canceled. And that's why Logan was saying this stuff, because Tate got canceled, and then Logan's like, okay, maybe I should be on the side of the platforms that canceled him. So that's when he started going off on Tate being a bad guy.
See, and that's my problem, because like I could be, oh, I believe in Jesus. I'm so hurt you said that about my savior. But dude, if I really believe what I believe, then Logan's going to meet God one day, and it's not for me to judge or decide what happens. Like, hey, you live, you do your life, man. Like I'm not like here to be your judge, or like, I could care less. I mean, of course, I think there's a better life living by these principles and following God. But like, that's the amazing thing about life, is God has given everyone free will. So you could believe in him or you don't. And that doesn't hurt my feelings. And it shouldn't, I mean, it could bother people. I'm not going to say things should or shouldn't bother people. My only problem is then when like Logan is like trying to like silence other people's opinions and stuff, I think it's sort of funny, because then it's like now he's getting like a taste of his own medicine with all these people like blowing up the comments and stuff because he's hating on George and like religion. I mean,
it is just maybe a little bit of karma, because him going after Tate and loving that Tate was canceled when Logan was going through one of the biggest cancellations ever a few years ago. And I mean, I've been following his journey. I'm a fan of the podcast. I've been following their journey since the start. So just to see him switch up a bit and kind of go against what he used to think and do, it's just now that he feels like he's on top, he kind of is going a little bit in a different direction. It's just interesting to see. I mean, when you have that big of a following, like we won't really know what's going on in his head, what he thinks he has to say, because when you have that many of millions of people listening to every word you're saying, that can get construed in a different direction. Maybe you might have to try to filter yourself, but that's not what's going to get you popular and get you well liked in the long term. Like a guy like Tate might be well liked in the long term because he'll always just say whatever he wants. People like Nelk, they'll just do whatever they want, and people will like them or hate them just for being who they are. But if Logan is just going against the narrative, for the narrative, just switching up every now and then, no one really knows what he's trying to do here. And I mean, no one should bash any opinions of others. That goes into anything, politics, religion. Like everyone is their own person. You can have your own opinions on anything. And I think that's one thing social media has made people go against a lot lately. Just not having not believing what you want.
Yeah, and I think no one should bash someone else's opinions, but I believe people should be allowed to bash. And I think there should be channels on YouTube that could say Christians are idiots, even though I'm a Christian, because I believe in free speech. So that's why I believe that we should protect the Muslims in America, the Jewish people, the Buddhists, the Hindus, because if they come after any one of those religions and start silencing them, then game over for everyone.
Yeah.
So that's just like, what you were saying had really got me thinking. That's the biggest problem with him for me. It's not that but I believe, yes, we should respect people at all costs. So I don't like agree with people disrespecting people, but at the same time, I'm not going to cry in my cereal and like, you know, I'm a big boy. People could like say things that might be mean. So what? I know who I am. I'm grounded in my beliefs, and it's not going to bother me at the end of the day. The problem with Logan is we need authenticity. If you believe in a certain way, hold firm in that way. And people like Nelk, people like Tate, they believe what they believe, and they're not afraid to like, they're not going to waver based on what the platforms say or what other people say. And that's what I respect, you know, people who actually stand up for what they believe. So Logan should come back out and say, you know what, I disrespected. Maybe you guys think, maybe even if he wants to take it like, you know, maybe you think I disrespected George, but I still feel like Christianity's stupid and God's fake. But whatever, that's just what I believe. And he should hold that.
Yeah.
But instead of, I apologize when he really, this is why like, I think a lot of people don't respect big actors and celebrities, because you don't know who they really are.
Yeah. Once they get canceled, they'll apologize for it. That's why people love Nelk, because like Steve will do it. He says a lot of things and never will apologize. He doesn't matter what he does. And this definitely goes into like the big conversation of Elon buying Twitter. I think that's very revolutionary.
Yes.
Because of the free speech thing, and you know, cancel culture in general. Because some people will be for free speech, but then some people like a Logan will be for private organizations having their own say in who's allowed to be on their platform, who's allowed to have this specific opinion on that platform. And I kind of agree with in both terms, because I do agree with free speech. But like, let's say you had a Christian website and someone was posting things with like, you know, bad words, things that you didn't like on there, or saying some hateful stuff. Like, you would have you'd be able to take them off your website if you wanted to, because they are just displaying things that don't go against the terms of what you made your website to be about.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's one scenario to where people might say, okay, well, YouTube can cancel anyone because it goes against what they want to be on their platform. Because like free speech in general can just turn into some sort of super hatred thing. But I'm just playing devil's advocate here and just trying to see it from all directions of what some people might think when it comes to private organizations.
Yeah, it's hard when YouTube and Facebook and Instagram has grown to such a level where any dialogue that's happening for like the average day American, or like communication is taking place on these platforms, it really does affect society, you know, in different ways. And it is a hard place to say, these private companies, when does like the government step in and say, hey, you can't do that, or just like let them do what they want, because things have gone, and these companies are so powerful that if they wanted everyone to think a certain way, it wouldn't be too hard, like they did with Twitter, to start changing the narrative for people to believe certain things. And that could be really dangerous. And that's no different than like the Communist Party in North Korea or China, you know?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is pretty crazy. I saw this Patrick Bet David video recently where he was talking about how he was posting the same exact posts on Instagram and on TikTok, the same short form videos, Instagram and TikTok, and he was doing great on both. Both were getting millions of views. But ever since he posted one video about China, and it wasn't even like that bad of a video, like bashing China too much or whatever, but ever since his one video about China on TikTok, he's basically been shadow banned and getting like 200x more views on Instagram ever since. And so, I mean, if you're, and basically like now people do feel like they have to bow down to the algorithms, because it does come down to the algorithms when you're posting on these platforms. So, and that's who determines if you're going to grow. And this is a business for a lot of people. The amount of followers you have, the amount of views you're getting, that means dollar signs, that means business, that means the kind of life quality you're going to be living. So, I mean, some people are just going to try to bow down to these algorithms to make sure they're on their good side and just get to where they want to be when it comes to growing on these platforms. So that's when it's like a slippery slope when it comes down to this, because you could always just say your opinion, but if you voice your opinion and it's against societal norms or against things that people want to see online, then you might get shadow banned. There might be no reason for it. You know, a couple people might like you, but then if you don't blow up, like if you're not as big as Tate, if you're not blowing up like Tate, then it's not going to be super beneficial if you're just getting no views, just super shadow bans. So it's just it's tough.
It's hard, yeah, because then your livelihood, is at stake because of your opinions. I mean, the good thing for most of the people listening is most likely you're not going to be talking about anything religious or political, so you'll be fine.
Yeah.
In general, like most likely, a lot of creators never even have to touch on these subjects, but it's just like, I just feel like it's a very slippery slope, but it should be, I think it's like crosses the line if people are making videos where then it's invoking like hate against certain people or violence, acts of violence against certain people. Like that's where for me, like it draws the line. But if people are just like saying, I disagree with this, or I even think it's stupid, then they should be able to say it. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. I
mean, as long as you're not inciting violence or like encouraging, if you're not like trying to, I mean, that's what it comes down to. Free speech, like we can say whatever we want. If you have the same opinions as someone else, you're not even your own person. And it's just, I mean, the social media game is tough. And then you see people form these perceptions online. And I mean, that is tough. We'll see. It's going to be cool to see, or not cool, it'll be interesting to see what Logan does with this in the future. Because that's got to be a difficult conversation that he's having with his team, where they're probably talking about, well, how do you get back from this? Like he can't just go back into another podcast. And because I've seen a lot of people unfollow him and they're just like fully canceling him for good now. Like they're saying this is the last straw. So I'm sure there's a big discussion going on over there with how he's going to address all this, but we'll just have to wait and find out.
Yeah, I think that's important. Like another thing, if you are a content creator, like, talking about things like for example, me talking about the Bible, and the Bible does have things that are controversial to modern day standards in our society, even though if you really think about it, most of the world has been this way for thousands of years, including like the Middle East and stuff. And really we've like a lot of the changes like now that we're seeing have been in the last 50 years. But besides all that, I think it's important to have an email list in a database and get your followers, like get their email, get their phone numbers, or there's lots of different services you could do that. But to have like a weekly newsletter would be smart, because then if you get banned on one of these platforms, you still have 50,000, 100, 200,000 people, and you could still carry on, your work, your business, whatever you're doing. You're not so dependent. And that's why, like we talk about a lot, it's good to be across platforms, because then if one does shadow ban you or something, you can still have success on other platforms. And there are places like Rumble that's coming out, and a lot of these other alternative platforms for people that might have views that are different than today's society.
Yeah, I even though there are other platforms like Rumble or whatever else there is out there, it's going to be very hard for them to get the same kind of attention that you're getting on YouTube, because Rumble, I mean, I just heard, Steve Will Do It is strictly posting on Rumble now because he got banned from YouTube. And I just heard him talking about how he's getting like over 1 million views of video on Rumble, which not many other people are, but it's still discouraging because of those 1 million people, they're all coming from his Instagram, or they're all already his fans. Where on YouTube, he would be getting all these views from the recommended page of YouTube, just recommending the videos to different people, growing a different audience. You can't really grow an audience right now, at least on Rumble, as to where you can on YouTube. So, and also, I don't know if it's going to be much easier in 2-3 years with Rumble or with another platform, because of the direction that YouTube's just becoming a monster right now. So I mean, Rumble will get bigger slowly, but it's not going to be able to. It's really never going to be able to compete with YouTube, in my opinion.
Well,
also because what were you saying?
I mean, to put in perspective what you were just saying about the views, he has 342,000 on Rumble and at YouTube.
Subscribers?
The time of only 342,000 on Rumble.
Wow.
And on YouTube, he had 4.75 million.
Yeah,
on
and he's already
YouTube.
been on Rumble a couple months now, so you'd think that would come over from YouTube. But now, I mean, he doesn't even have a YouTube channel, so he can't even promote on YouTube saying that come check me out on Rumble. So,
yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be a weird direction. I think he's starting a podcast with Bradley Martin, so that'll be good for him too. But another thing about that topic of YouTube being a monster is I just sent you an article yesterday where I think Gary Vee was talking about how YouTube might acquire the Sunday Ticket NFL network, which is kind of insane news. Because if YouTube acquires massive sports networks like that, already I know a lot of people that don't even have cable that are just doing YouTube TV as their cable. And if YouTube acquires like a Sunday Ticket, a Red Zone, or like an MLB at bat or an NBA, one of those apps to watch sports, you have to buy it through that YouTube's platform. That's like game over, because then, when you have to watch the Super Bowl, can you imagine everyone has to tune into YouTube to watch the Super Bowl in the future? I mean, it could easily be like that, and that's the most watched thing aside from Mr. Beast. had to bring him up.
Well, you love him. Okay, to put it, DirecTV was paying about $1.5 billion per season to the NFL.
You have an article?
Yeah, Disney, Viacom, Fox, and Comcast are paying about $2 billion per season for their NFL deals. So Google, one of the largest companies on planet Earth, how easy would it be for them just to offer up, I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 billion and just take all of the market share for the NFL? I mean,
insane,
dude. And
I mean, look at this right here.
Yeah,
NFL
so
Sunday
pulled
Ticket.
Up an article.
Yeah, just pulled up an article. NFL Sunday Ticket and YouTube on the verge of a multi-billion-dollar deal.
Yeah.
Is it huge. Good for fans? I mean, who knows? Yeah, like you said, pays $1.5 billion annually for the rights, and so NFL, that's a lot of money. And I mean, YouTube can surely afford that, because how much did YouTube pay out to creators last year? I think it was it's like tripling every year or something crazy. So I mean, they have a lot. They have a lot of money to dish, and why don't they just buy all of them out and just make tons of money from it? That is a massive. That's a big news right there. Multi-billion, and any multi-billion-dollar deal is big news.
Yeah. Well, I heard this. I actually got this stat here that in 2022, as of the third quarter, there's 2.67 billion users on YouTube. Okay. And literally in 2017, there was 1.6 billion.
Okay. Not bad. So a whole billion.
I mean, massive growth. So, I mean, and what's that mean for content creators? Well, the more YouTube continues to get these, or Google gets these massive deals with all these networks and stuff, there's just going to be more people on the platform, more advertisers coming to the platform, more money being spent. I think creators are going to make more money. Creators are going to get more exposure, bigger followings. I mean, I think we're going to see a massive shift to where TV is just going to be archaic, a thing of the past. And if
it's already going in that direction too.
It already is. Yeah. I mean, talk to any young person and where are they at, So I think, this is the time. If you're not creating content, and get on it. And if you are, just put the pedal to the metal, because it's going to pay off massively. And it already is for a lot of people.
Definitely. Well, is there anything else to discuss today? It's a holiday season, so there's a lot going on this week. And, it's just it's been hectic for both of us, content creation wise. Going into the new year, we're just trying to put the pedal to the metal, like you just said. Push it, push content out in 2023, and that's just what we're trying to preach. And it's just it's just insane. I mean, hopefully we can grow our followings like Alix Earle.
Dude,
and figure it out.
The sky's the limit, bro. Definitely. Yeah. I mean, one thing we're hopping on right now, which we've been hearing about for the last few months, but now we're like, okay, we got to get on before it's like, you know, too inundated, is Facebook Reels. So actually uploading clips either on desktop into Facebook on a business page or a fan page, they call it business fan page for your business, or using the app and uploading these reels. One, I guess exposure right now is crazy. And then Darren, what were you hearing about CPMs for Facebook
I don't know.
Reels?
I've just heard that it's like 3 to 5x CPMs on Facebook Reels than it is on YouTube even, which is just absurd. So, and I don't know, we'll see the directioning. I don't know why. I've heard about posting on Facebook for the last 6 to 12 months, but just never pulled the trigger. I don't know why, but I mean, you know, it's better to start now than never. No matter when you're going to start in the content space, you're always going to think you're late. You know, when I started YouTube 2.5 years ago, I thought it was late. Even when anyone starts, they think they're late. Graham Stephan thought he was late when he started 6 years ago. Everyone's going to think they're late, and you could still build a massive following. Right now is early, honestly. Like, if you think about it. It's like an insane time to start a channel and just have those goals in 2023 to stay consistent, post shorts, post long form videos, grow a brand, post on all platforms. And this is going to be a massive year to come right now. But you got to get through the holiday season first. Got to get through Christmas, spend a little time with the family, get through New Year's next week, set some big goals, and we're gonna have a lot of good things to say on this podcast in 2023. A lot of good guests too, of course. That's when we're gonna really step it up on getting some big guests here.
That's right, and you just got to keep that momentum going, you know. If you haven't started, start. And if you're just doing, just keep doing, because shorts is just crazy right now. I know I was telling Darren, I had 80 subscribers on my like faith-based YouTube channel, and it's like already at almost 1,200 subscribers. And that's typically, ridiculous. If you're making long form content, it could take 6 months to a year to get 1,000 subscribers.
Oh yeah.
And you could literally do that in a week or two now. So take advantage of the times. Take advantage of the times, guys.
Yeah, I can't believe that. That's cool. So we'll see where we're at in the next week, year. You know, we'll in next week's episode, we'll definitely say some of our goals. We'll also say where we're at when it comes to where our followings are on all these platforms, and then it'll be cool next year to then also say how many followers we have on all these platforms. So then we can come back, watch the end of the year episode, and be like, wow, you'll say I was at 1,000 followers on my subscribers on my YouTube in our end of the year episode, and this year I'm at
100,000.
yeah, exactly. So it'll be just cool to come back. You know, when you go through this whole entrepreneurship journey, the content space, you always think that you should be growing quicker. You think you should be doing more. You get overwhelmed with everything that you're doing, but then when you really look back and just think of the year as a whole, you get a little more satisfied and content with that you actually were growing every day, as long as you take advantage of every day. So it's always good to look at the year as a whole, you know, and then we'll see what happens.
Totally. Yeah, exactly. And even that year, if you don't see a lot of growth, you have to realize the principles and the things you're learning about content creating in general, content creation, is why the following year you 10x all your platforms, because you put in that work to learn the basics and the nuances of short form video, long form video, and there's no overnight success. It might just look it.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, you want to close this out? Get some subscribers here?
Yeah. Let's get some subscribers in here. You know, we just hit 100 subs. We'll say the exact. Now, hopefully, we'll be at. You know, we'll see next year as this grows. We're gonna keep it going. Get some good guests on. Pump out the shorts and hit the like button. Just if you're listening to this, you got to hit the like button. Like, just stop right now, real quick. Good, and appreciate it. We'll see you guys.
Leave a comment on Apple, Spotify, podcasts, or a review. Helps a lot. See you guys later. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Peace.